I noticed that.
Kept doing it. I was like, what is it?
Welcome back to the live show. Welcome back to No Bullshit 2. We're having a roundtable discussion. Sicario 2 came out tonight. It was pretty fun. Good movie so far. First thoughts, everyone jump on in.
First, I want to introduce who we have here. What the Folk Show is myself. We have Nico Fashizzle, filmmaker, helper of all kinds of people, goes to college, trying to get educated. Good guy. EC2, the 2. He made a 3. Anyways, big time podcast contributor, sports, movies, so many knowledges. Director
of
development, certain places. You know how to do all the accents for the movie that we're talking about, which are more of a Latin flavored kind of film. So that's something you're gonna go. Exactly. And it's called Sicario, Day of the what?
Soldado.
See, that's better if he says it because I wouldn't be as good at it.
I never could get the name right until I just wrote it out for this title. I'm like, what is it? Soldado? I call it Sicario 2 for the longest time.
Yeah, it's easier that way, right? And the last but certainly the least is at McNugget 31.
A lot of introductions.
Always a pleasure.
Just because when they look at your Twitter, they're gonna be like, who is this guy?
Also, it's at McNugget 31.
That's just what I said, right?
You said just McNugget.
Oh, okay. So maybe that calls into question if I really know who you are.
That's why I have no followers.
You could be great.
That makes more sense.
And let's not leave out the people in the back row here. We have the 2014 championship Cardinals roster. Thanks for joining us, guys. They're watching. Guys. They might chime in. Hey, Carpenter's over there.
A lot of fans these days.
Yeah, it's a good show. So thoughts on the movie?
Amazing.
Anybody? No, you like no.
I thought the movie was great. I thought it was great, like suspense movie, building up, good representation of the cartels and the sicarios. But I'm still, I'm thinking it's building up to some big event, right?
Yeah.
And there is some big stuff that happens at the end there. But I know I didn't see the first one. You guys saw the first one, so maybe you can educate me on them.
I think it would help if you had seen the first one, maybe at least a
little bit. It stands on its own, like. I think it's just the characters. Like there's just some of the same characters, but it's not like the story would matter. I think your impressions on it by itself are good. I think it stands up to the first movie, and it's a sequel that you would expect because the first one was like this. Like I think what you were saying earlier, maybe it was before we started. It was like kind of like slow and like methodical. Like it stretched out a little bit. It didn't feel like too like. Crazy, except for like a few key scenes where there are like some real.
Well, cool I felt tests. Like this was the same thing. This guy kind of tried to follow in the footsteps of the first original movie, and I don't think he could capture just what that they tried to do in the first one because I felt the intensity wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that each scene was kind of led into what we kind of were expecting was going to happen.
Okay,
in a sense, like it wasn't. The first movie kind of had these scenes where you just didn't see any of that coming and the brutality. But maybe that's because we got all of it in the first movie that we weren't really expecting.
Well, okay. Nico Fashizzle coming in here right now with Pink Hat. Always remind me of Philip Seymour Hoffman from the movie Twister. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton.
Pink Hat.
What if I were to say that I think the presence of Emily Blunt is what made it slower because we were Emily Blunt as an audience. Yeah. She's so out of the fish out of water, out of place. Mm-hmm. This one, I feel like it was even more action-packed, and you said you can kind of understand what's coming because it is just a cartel military movie. I don't think there was really somebody who was the audience in this movie.
Yeah, there's no real like surrogate for the audience to like focus in on.
Yeah, so it's just welcome to this intense world.
Yeah,
and the whole story was different that way too. Like the first one was all about, like you were saying, Emily Blunt, like learning kind of like some of the basics about the border,
getting dirty in this dirty world.
How really messy that was.
The cop stuff, the government, Mexico versus America. For people listening, thanks for tuning in. If you don't know this movie, Sicario, it's basically about some kind of like there's a hitman, there's a Mexican cartel. I'm not really hitting the story points, but you can imagine. It's like there's a shot, there's guns, there's tattoos, there's drugs, there's smugglers, nighttime, helicopters, sunsets. Haircuts,
land, cars,
beards.
I guess simply put, I would say it's a high-level security, high-level military functions in Mexico involving drugs, involving money. So that whole industry that any adult is going to watch. I think you have to be an adult to appreciate this movie and kind of see how it does tie in with the regular world. I mean, what about if we were to compare it to the first one? I say personally, I liked it more. I liked how it was more Benicio. And man, that character, Benicio Del Toro, I'm watching the whole movie and I'm like, bro, you're moving up the list because this is one of the coolest characters.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I'm jealous. As someone who acts sometimes, I'm so jealous because it's such a cool character.
Well, dude, I was thinking too. I was I was thinking earlier, like Del Toro's having a great year. Like he's been in some really big parts.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great because it's like him starring too. This is even better.
Yeah.
Because it's more of him. But he's been in these other parts. Like he was in the new Star Wars.
It was.
He was in
Wasted.
Avengers.
Wasted.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that movie was just a shit show. But regardless, he was in it and he did good. And then also, what was the one? The Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
like he was in that.
He was with Thanos in
Infinity
War.
Oh, wow. So that must have been a fun set. Josh Brolin, who's in Sicario, did Soldado. That's okay.
There was actually a point in tonight's movie. Now that you say that, there was one point where Thanos, the actor goes off in Sicario, and he's like, "Just fuck them all" or something. And I'm just like, all he needed was like a snap.
Yeah,
you could have just done a snap, and it would have been like perfect.
Oh, we know that's going to be a meme, right? That's definitely going to be a meme. That's awesome. Overall, I would rank it higher than I would rank the first one personally, just because more fast paced is kind of the first one definitely opened up the world, but sometimes I just want it's kind of like how you and I talked today, and I said that I might even rank Terminator Salvation with Terminator 1. Because my Terminator 1 feeling is up and down a lot. So it's like this one is kind of like Terminator 2.
There wouldn't be a 2.
That was
one if there wasn't the first one.
Yeah.
You really needed that first one to build the world that we are even in. And I think you're right. There's a big contrast between both movies.
Yeah.
The first one, I think,
Salvation.
We actually talking with EC2 here. He likes Salvation. We said that Salvation is better than Genesis and Terminator 3.
Yeah. Well, I've taken poops that are better than Genesis.
But is it better than Terminator 3? Nick Stahl? Come on.
Yeah,
the one where they go in that bomb shelter
and everyone blows up. Claire Danes.
Yeah, that was weird. But I mean, the Terminator history is troubled.
Christian Bale yelling as an Academy Award-winning person is slightly better than Terminator 3.
I think the memes that came out of filming that movie were better.
Well, and that's the whole, drama behind the scenes where he was like yelling at the lighting guy or whatever. That dude kept walking in the shot like that. I understand. Christian Bale getting angry, so I have no,
But speaking of direction, back to Sicario real quick. I was thinking about that. We were talking about how it had the original director is that Canadian guy Villanova. I think it's something is his name. I can't. Something Canadian, something French, and since he's French, of course, he's like very artsy, right? And this is like something that was coming up with the first movie. The first movie has like a very more intense. The first Sicario, it's like slower. It's beautiful. It's shot really well and like tense. Good raising in the music and stuff. Whereas this one is still good. But it's like just different. It like moves on to almost like full blown action movie.
Yeah, it's more straightforward.
And I don't think that's bad because I think they're different.
Anybody who knows you of no bullshit, you're kind of considered an artsy person. Yeah, so I would think that you would like the French artsy. I love
French.
Yeah, you're a painter, all that.
See, in terms of pacing, it's kind of slow, but it's kind of fits the movie. I'm thinking they're building up to this big confrontation with like all these cartels and. See, Benicio Del Toro in that first scene when they steal the girl, he's a badass. He's shooting people. He's going after people. But I'm a little disappointed in the end scene where they get him in the bus. They tie him up. I mean, he doesn't really fight. He doesn't really show his true colors.
We don't want to go too spoiler free, but I agree that there's a lull after basically the second and a half act on. There was like an hour lull there of just character.
It felt long, like it was like 2 hours, and it was just like
sign language too, ASL
time in there.
Well, I also think like the fact that maybe that it felt that way is because I think they're trying to capture the realism of how it is. Like it's not an action movie because it just happens so fast because they are professionals, or it does get sloppy. So I felt like we as were following through what was actually happening. So that's why maybe the ending wasn't the huge climax we wanted. Because it was just more realistic than it was more just an action flick for us.
Yeah. I climaxed.
It was still realistic. And, like, they did a good job of like trying to get those big explosions and stuff and like big gun scenes like into a realistic situation. Like there was one time when a grenade went off and I was just like, okay, they did a cool explosion, but it wasn't like cheesy shitty like action explosion. Like it really worked.
Yeah, it was based in realism. Kind of like
goes off the realism.
I feel like Villeneuve kind of took a lot from Michael Mann kind of action, like really good sound, very realistic. Michael Mann, EC2, you know him from like Heat. Did you ever see Heat?
Yeah.
Last of the Mohicans. By the way, he did a lot of them. He made Miami Vice. The movie wasn't as good. I want to stop in for Snow Chip right now. Never heard of this movie, but I like Benicio though. Maybe I'll check it out, dude. Definitely, folk can check it out.
It's worth it.
Definitely check out What the Folk.
Someone says, "How are you doing?" Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will say though, I think you were hinting at this. Like, it's the kind of movie not to like not recommend it, but it's like it's kind of like for specific people. Like, first of all, I think it's for dudes.
Yeah,
Mexicans. It's like a guy movie.
Men, adult men.
Yeah, like men in like.
You like the Tom Clancy movies?
Definitely, I feel like if you read those books,
it's like very
government,
high level military.
Yeah, like very structural. Like you find your mission, we're going to do it, and then what can spiral from that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like what you were saying earlier. It's a really good representation of the U.S. military, just how quick they can act on things, and how fast they can move. And I thought that was pretty badass.
How efficient they are.
And it got like the complications too. Like it got in there where just like there's like authorities, there's government, and like politicians they have to deal with, and then the stuff on the ground, and then there's like random things you can't account for, like someone maybe spotting you and like recognizing your face. Like all those shits are in there.
Yeah,
and it was cool to see all that at play. Yeah. And I think the sequel too, the other thing I wanted to go off of, I think you were saying, was just how it was more action, and it was like this sequel did a good job of like raising the stakes.
Yeah.
They got more intense. Like the first one was just kind of isolated. There's like one incident, and then there's like one other thing that happened, but this one it like goes into full out war.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy.
I guess I would say a great comparison would be
it's a little
Purge. Purge 1. Ethan Hawke, one house. And then Purge 2, we say is a John Carpenter movie, opens up
that's
the whole of the world, a lot more action and awesome.
Were you saying Man on Fire?
I saw a little Man on Fire component.
I was getting that vibe.
Similarity, just with the like the kind of the tension, and the impact of the acting. I thought Josh Brolin, Benicio Del Toro, they complement each other well.
I'd say you're bringing up that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. You're bringing up a big name right now. Nicola, you've seen Man on Fire, right?
I saw that.
Do you understand why I could love a movie like that?
You know, there's an original Man on Fire.
Is it Denzel?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tony Scott sacrificed himself, Greasy Bear, all that.
The other thing I was going to say though, because this is similar, is like the Denzel thing is.
Long time.
I think in Man on Fire he's like a former operative too. Like I don't know if he's a hitman.
No, he's a former
like it's like
CIA.
Well, he was basically kind of like a Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
you know,
NSA.
Took down governments.
But then think about this other thing, because we actually saw this. I think we saw this trailer before the movie. There's like an Equalizer 2 coming out.
Yeah,
and it's like the same kind of thing. I mean, it's different, like because it focuses more on him. But yeah, like you were saying, and then in this movie, Benicio's like that hitman. Yeah, and then Brolin is too. They kind of like split it in this movie.
Brolin's more like his handler than because he's more of like the the head of the operation.
It's like the real government.
Overall positive fucking experience for me. Should we do ratings and then go to trailers? And then you had something. You had a trend you want to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up.
Interesting.
We'll tease it because I was thinking whenever I looked up this movie, and it reminds me of like a lot of sequels this year. So there's always a lot of sequels, but like what's really cool and interesting was like a lot of them are coming from 2015.
Yeah.
Like this movie had a 2015 original. We just saw Jurassic World last week, which had the 2015 one. And then we have like 10.
We have a long list, so you'd be surprised about that. So don't click off the next 10, 12 minutes, I say. Probably quicker than that. So first flame, I'll go. No, I'm not doing flames. You're trying to give me your rating system.
You want the flames.
I'm going Sicario too. I'm going I enjoyed it because I wanted to watch that high-level military espionage industry movie, which is what that 2015 trend we're going to talk about, the industry of movies. I'd say 8.7 out of 10.
Wow.
8.7 out of 10.
That's solid.
87 out of 100.
I think I'll do 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Like I want to do 3 or 4.
Like 7 out of 10.
I want to do like
70%.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. I'll do 7.
I mean, is this a metric system?
I'm agree. I think like 7.4.
7.4. You hate military movies.
That's not true. It's a 7.4. That's a solid.
That's a good. That's
score.
I think for me, it's like
just not as good as the first one.
I think I like this genre, but I like a lot of different types of movies. And I think if you like this kind of movie, you're gonna love it even more.
Yeah,
like I would give it a 4 or 5.
You like it 70% amount.
Yeah, like I
would pay 70%
more
to
than
buy it.
50%.
Yeah. EC2. What's your rating?
I'm going with a 7.5. I would have definitely
Still
given it
pretty
an 8 or higher just based off the ending. I thought the ending was a little anticlimactic, but still the meat of the film is great. You know, the components are great. It's a good representation of the relationship between U.S., Mexico, and just how fragile that is, how quick that can change. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With the speed of a bullet.
Yeah. So I would give it a matinee. Definitely pay for matinee.
Okay.
Yeah, but whereas Sicario, the first one, you would definitely pay full price.
Oh, so you liked it more?
Yeah, I liked Sicario, the first one, more than this one.
Can you give me like what's the main reason you like this less than the first one?
I mean, just it wasn't as polished as the first one.
Wasn't as artsy?
I mean, not artsy, but
no, it's true.
But I like how they expanded on Benicio Del Toro.
Just the way he said
it. Okay.
He's the best character of the whole thing.
It's a film over a movie, bro.
It's a what?
It was original as a film.
Yeah, that's a good. That's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
description.
That's what I was trying to say too.
So one is about like
that I'm telling you, that French
brain
guy,
sensing. This one's about like balls.
He
like
did
America.
other ones too. He did what was the other movies that guy did? It was like the new Blade Runner.
The new Blade Runner. Yes.
He had like a really good 3 years.
Prisoners.
The last 3 movies, it was like this movie.
Arrival.
Arrival was last year.
Dune.
And then or no, not this movie. He did the first one in 2015, Arrival, and then Blade Runner.
Yeah,
that's like a pretty crazy.
This was written by Taylor Sheridan, which I think is awesome.
Very
because
awesome writer.
He's a former actor turned writer. Wrote and directed Wind River. Wrote Hell or High Water. Wrote this. He was in the first 3 seasons of Sons of Anarchy as Sheriff Hale. Really good character and a really good show. If you haven't seen that on Netflix, that's what we do here on the.
Is that really old guy?
And No Bullshit live stream is constant, witty, informational conversation, usually
Hale,
about
the
movies.
Younger one. He's the guy that got run over by the cop, like in 30
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
Like, really quick.
Not the old cop on there.
Yeah.
What old cop? I don't remember.
I thought he was
older sheriff.
The one that's like always a cop.
Yeah,
they're
he's
like cop friends.
At the end of the line, like
it's like bald.
Oh yeah! Wow,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that show in so long.
Unser.
Yeah, I forgot. But,
Wow.
Well, you see the Mayan season's coming out soon.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll be able to watch. Sons of Anarchy. I just remember it's 7 seasons of like so many stories going on.
So good.
Sorry.
The last thing I'll say though before the trailers is just the topical stuff. Like this movie deals with the issues that we've talked about it, but like
there are some
kind of
similarities,
crazy. Like all the talk just in the news. There's like a lot of immigration stuff going on. There's like all kinds of that shit, and then you see this movie and we're like seeing people crossing the river, crossing the Rio,
Coyotes.
like just like all kinds of like shit. Like the coyotes, the kids of Coyote. Like,
I think I saw my cousin in there actually.
Nice.
I just love how you just let that woman go. He's like, nah, just leave her.
He's like, no, you gotta move forward.
She's
You gotta move forward. That was crazy.
So where do they go? People who just can't swim. It's like a whole nation they're starting.
Yeah.
People couldn't float to America.
They go back.
Yeah.
They float on, bro.
But timely relevance overall, I think it's going to do very well, especially in the red box market, because you're going to have a lot of parents, whether they're conservative or liberal. I think this is a movie everyone knows is something that's part of our life. They see it on the news every night. So overall, I think it's going to do pretty well for
Jurassic World still wins
for a rated R movie, right? It has to be
Yeah.
rated R. For rated R movie, this dramatic and action packed and violent, I think it's going to do pretty well.
I think totally. Now that you say it like that too, it's like the first movie was more artistic, and they're trying to like make a more of a statement dramatically, and then this one's like going mainstream.
Yeah,
and it will get those rentals, and like maybe next week like more people will buy tickets too, just because it's like
word of mouth.
they're like, oh, this shit's dope.
I'm telling my dad he would like it, so
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at. Well, okay, so we get into the trailers here. Thanks for fucking listening so far. We have Silver Marvel 18 Snow Chip. As I said, check out Benicio Del Toro. Some of the trailers, guys. First one, Nicolo. Did you catch the Hitler one about the Hitler going back in time?
Oh yeah.
To find the Nazi story?
I mean, I went to the.
Oh, that was another movie we're talking about. You went to the bathroom for that one. Oscar Isaac movie about searching for Ben Kingsley, a Nazi who went to South America.
He was Hitler's second lieutenant.
Yeah.
He escaped to South America, and so they're going after him.
What about Nicolo? How about First Man? Were you here for that one?
Oh, I've seen that online. Yeah.
The Ryan Gosling trailer?
The Damien Chazelle directed one.
So do you think that could just be another award darling? Because Damien Chazelle hasn't done
Every
bad.
movie has been
Yeah, I think
La La Land.
He's killing it.
Whiplash.
He's what 2-0.
Yeah, he's like married to some big actors too, so he's trying to plant his grounds and really take
He's
over.
really doing it.
Yeah.
It looks like a good space, like
I think it's
Apollo.
more Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I love the part before when he's getting in the shuttle. Like, did anybody have a Swiss Army knife? It's like, dude, no one knew that. It's like hardest thing ever. Like, I don't know how it worked. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was filmed on a stage. We don't know.
I wonder
But
if they'll make it.
I think the intensity, everyone's going to relay with it. I think it's going to do very well. And then we have
Kubrick did direct
Mission Impossible. I think you should take that, Brooks, because apparently
I saw that trailer. I didn't see it tonight, but I've seen it before.
Well, but you're involved in another Mission Impossible project. Maybe you want to take a moment to talk about. You're one of the starring roles of it.
Yeah, I did this shitty little sketch. No,
It's not a sketch. It's a short film.
It was
They don't have 14-minute sketches.
It was amateur hour.
Amateur hour.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, but the Mission Impossible movie looks dope.
Yeah. What is it called?
It's called Fallout.
I mean, the other Mission.
You're talking about the
Impossible
skit.
Yeah, this is your time. Not the skit. The short film.
You're talking about
the short film.
the comedy sketch.
Yes. Comedy short film.
No, dude, are we gonna release that though?
Yes, when Mission
That's
Impossible
what I'm
comes
saying.
out.
It's like coming out in a couple weeks. So,
But I want from your point of view, number two, to give me like a little bit. What's it about, so they can hear you?
okay. So basically, Tom Cruise, he does his own stunts. He's a very confident old man and little guy. And he's got Napoleon complex, so he chooses to kind of like overcompensate by doing his own stunts a lot.
Yeah.
And this turns out to get him injured once in a while, and ipso facto, he's uninsurable. So you can imagine the premiums on this.
Oh my god! The insurance company must be.
Yeah, it's super expensive. So with that said, the insurance guy is a little worried. You know, he's a good-looking dude. He's got family.
Your neighbor, right?
You know, he's got a lot on the line here. Yeah, he's possibly a Scientologist. Possibly believes in aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously something else out there.
Which part do you play this really good-looking guy? You're him.
I play the insurance salesman.
You're the insurance guy.
Everything to live for.
Wow, nice.
And what part are you?
I'm Ethan Hunt.
You're the sad old man who does his own stunts.
With certain transplants, taking life a little too seriously, like Tom Cruise does sometimes. But don't worry.
Like Mission Impossible 2, Ethan Hunt, or we go?
I'm like, we're combining them all because we combine all the scenes. But I promise you, for any Mission Impossible fans, I am running everywhere. So I always run when I get there. And the director's to my right, Nico Fascisto. Well, just give me like a line. What can they expect from what we did? Which was so much fun, by the way, man. Thank you.
Yeah, great. I was joking.
We had a lot of fun.
A lot of improv.
We did good. I followed the script.
Yeah, a lot of
improv.
He improved a lot.
You did. Yeah, a lot.
It was
of
good
extra
for
footage.
like the straight man. Because you were playing good like straight man, like Tom Cruise. Like, really suffering from it.
It worked. Are you excited to release it? Are you gonna tell people about it?
Yeah, of course.
Would you text your family?
Yeah. Oh no, not my family.
Would you say our short film is a matinee or a full price?
It's a full price.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. 3D
IMAX.
Good to know. Just want
to
go
get that 3D transcode.
Mission Impossible.
We're gonna release that on this channel, by the way, whenever the movie comes out in a couple weeks. It's gonna be sick. And it reminds me. This is a little side note, but it's so random because I was watching some random Family Guy episodes a couple days ago, and it was the Tom Cruise one, and he's like tiny Tom Cruise, and he hangs out. He hangs out with Stewie. And they're both like little guys, and like Stewie's like trying to feel better because he's little, and like Tom's like, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna run really fast, like you said, like he did something like that. He's like, I'm running. Dude, like they did that thing. That episode's super funny. So that's random.
Well, how about that trend we talked about? 2015 movies. I guess when people think about it as watching movies, it takes about 2.5-3 years to release, market, create everything, editing, casting, everything. So
yeah, I think that you can do it in 2. Like some will if they can get like a rush order.
Yeah.
But like 1 is like something you got to plan ahead, like the way the Avengers are doing, or like other movies. If you're gonna do 1 year, it's like they have to do it double.
They're usually shooting it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings, for instance, they shot all 3 of them at the same time.
Right, exactly. And then like you were saying, the 3 years is kind of like the sweet spot where like if you can get it done, you can have plenty of time. Yada promoting.
If you look at episode 7, Star Wars 7 and 8, 8 came out relatively fast after episode 7.
It was 2 years, I think. Right?
Yeah, it was about 2 years, and I thought that kind of hurt the episode because other than the shitty ending.
No, dude, but that's true because I thought you were going to say something else, but it's related because the prequels were 3 years.
Right, every 3 years.
And that's like what we're talking about. Like 3 years is good.
So maybe that's why it sucked because it was a rush order.
I mean, it could be part of it. You can definitely do it in 2 years, like. But
that's why they're saying Solo tanked, because they're coming out. Rogue One was really great, but they're coming out with Star Wars left and right. They're trying to be,
I thought Solo was better than Last Jedi, personally.
Yeah, dude, I did too.
I thought Last Jedi was better than Solo.
Yeah,
Solo.
I like Solo. It was chill.
Okay, well look at how many there are.
Let's look at the movies. Let's go to the list.
Okay, so them all out there. Starting out, we got 50 Shades. Never saw any of them. Maze Runner that came out technically 2018.
So these are all movies that had a movie in 2015 and have a sequel now. Some of them are a little out there because the Maze Runner, it was actually the second part came out.
Well, it came out in January.
Okay, so 18, just 2018. So it's the 3-year release, Maze Runner. And then we have Avengers, which we all saw awesome. Jurassic World, just catch that. Sicario, obviously, when we started the podcast with Ant-Man coming up in a few weeks. Hotel Transylvania, Mission Impossible. The other one that's not Insurance Protocol, not as good. Goosebumps, Creed, technically. Goosebumps is coming out this year?
Yeah, there's a new Goosebumps.
Must be pretty soon then, huh?
In October.
It's out before October. Okay.
Yeah, I think they do it for Halloween.
Yeah.
And I saw that new Creed 2 trailer. It looks pretty badass.
Hell yeah.
Just the premise that they're taking with it.
Creed is legit.
Ivan Drago's son.
Whenever Creed, I saw that. That's what triggered me to write the list down. I was like, I saw that again, and I'm like, damn, that's another like sequel from 2015. The first Creed came out at like the end of that year.
Well, you put San Andreas on here, and that was funny because I also considered Skyscraper.
That's what I was saying.
Kind of like a sequel to it.
I have like
same
other
movie
ones on the bottom that are kind of like
close calls. Pitch Perfect, Star Wars, yeah.
Because Pitch Perfect and Star Wars had sequels in like December before this year.
Yeah.
So it's like almost. And then the other one you said, and then there's actually 2 video games that I can think of off the top of my head that fall into it as well, because 2015 had Fallout 4, and then they're having Fallout 76, and then there was also Just Cause 3, and they just announced the next Just Cause. So I mean, it's just like kind of crazy. I guess 3 years is like the good amount of time.
We're looking at these, there's pretty good.
Editing takes a year and a half at least. If it's a good project, it's going to take you a long time to edit a project.
Yeah, and the
other things we're going to talk about have a lot of special effects too.
For sure. Yeah, these are all like blockbuster, like huge projects, and the games are even harder sometimes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was going to say too, and I think this is more of a reading from it, was just that this is the sequel year. And it's because 2015 was so good, like it was so big. Like I remember we were seeing a lot of those too. We saw San Andreas. There was a new Star Wars. They rebooted Jurassic Park as well. Like 2015, like really brought shit together, and that's why we're like seeing all these sequels now. You know, it's like kind of like the 3-year mark from it.
Yeah. So the business of movies, 3 years. I guess something we'll try to remember going forward. When a sequel comes out, how many years has it been? Oh, if it's 3, we've usually had good success. If it's 1 or 2, it might not be that good.
Well, in that light, how do you guys feel about Avengers Part 4 coming out just a year after Part 3?
But that's
technically like one movie, right?
That's different for me because they filmed at the same time.
Right.
So filmed at the same time, it's like Avatar, which you also talked about Avatar, right? They're filming 3 movies right now.
They're filming actually 2, 3, 4, 5 at the same time. Yeah.
Did you like Avatar, Nico Fisher?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Just Pocahontas.
That's exactly how I feel. It's just like it was all right. It's like it was all right. All right, we're gonna make 5 more.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put a theme park in Universal.
Well, I mean,
it was all right, but it broke the box office record.
Disney World, which is funny because Disney now owns Avatar. Well, not yet, but in July they're gonna close the deal.
Well, I think that movie got so popular, everyone was just so depressed at that time. No one was connected with nature, and they have that whole like component about killing nature aspect of James Cameron trying to save the world and all that stuff.
Since then, we haven't killed any nature.
And that was also like there was also like another like
that's where it started. Was that movie started?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I spoke to one of the cameramen who's working on these Avatar sequels, and he's saying that James Cameron didn't make them sooner because he wanted to push himself technologically wise. Like he's not going to take on a project unless he can totally push the envelope. So the rumor is, you heard it on the Folk Show, the No Bullshit Show, is that movie 3 on Avatar, it's going to be 3D, but you don't need glasses for it.
Nice.
What?
Science.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Technology, man.
James Cameron ain't messing around.
He's good with sequels.
Raise the bar.
Yeah.
Raise the bar, guys. James
It's like the Nintendo 3DS, you know?
Well, dude, that's the thing about 2009. Like you're saying about the 3D, like he really just, whenever that came out, it was just this huge phenomenon. Mm-hmm. And technically, that's another thing you could say, like, we're still in the aftermath of it. It's been 9 years now, but like ever since then, like everything Blockbuster has tried to have a 3D version, and there's always been like other 3Ds, like movies trying to get in on that and like compete with it. I don't know if they ever did. I was never super big on 3D or anything, but like obviously it was like a huge trend, and now it's like a standard that we're like living with since then.
Yep.
So
good stuff.
I'm
pretty tired, to be honest. So I don't know if you guys can we think of some topics.
That's a hint to wrap it up.
Yeah, you have a code.
It's like that's like the verbal version of like going like, okay.
My big watch right now.
Just thinking,
closing
if we wanted to like close it out with the roundtable as we do, if something you've read recently or seen recently that you'd recommend. I'll start Glow on Netflix if you haven't seen it.
New season starts next
Gorgeous
week.
Ladies of Wrestling.
New
pretty solid.
Tonight.
Did you ever watch that, Brooks?
No, I don't.
It's actually really good, bro.
Right now.
I think you'd like it. Yeah, it's on right now. Nicola, now it's your turn if you go to the right.
All right. So it's Hotel Artemis, Tag, American Animals, American Animals is really good.
Yeah.
So
dang, I want to see American Animals.
Yeah, you should watch that one.
AMC.
I would say if you're a Lakers fan, go ahead and check out Paul George's new kind of ESPN docuseries.
How do you find it? Where do you watch it?
ESPN.com. ESPN. It goes through his free agency. I only care because I'm a Lakers fan. I hope we get him.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna say the CW's Black Lightning. Pretty legit, dude.
It sounds like a black porn star.
It's like he's a black superhero. It's like the DC's the Arrowverse's take on their Luke Cage.
That's cool.
I mean, it's not. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually the storyline's pretty good, and it delves deeper than any of the other Arrow shows actually does.
Check out Black Lightning on CW.
Black Lightning. I want you guys to check out Chad Thundercock. Netflix. Oh no! That's like porn avatar. No, actually, I was gonna just say some of the blockbusters from the last couple of weeks we didn't talk about yet, but I think the Incredibles was really good.
Yeah,
Incredibles 2 was awesome, and I actually saw that in IMAX. I hadn't been to IMAX in forever. It was super sweet, and it looks awesome. Like the graphics and everything. The story's
family
good.
Movie.
Yeah, total family movie, like crowd pleaser comedy in there. And then the other one was Jurassic World 2, which I thought was pretty good. I think there's like some problems with it. It's kind of like not perfect, weird. I mean,
I think they didn't answer that movie. I think because they were like, okay, we're making a third movie, so we'll answer it.
A lot of dinosaurs.
Yeah. There's a weird twist that where first half of the movie kind of feels like a sequel, and then all of a sudden they go to this house and they're selling dinosaurs, and there's rich men trying to buy raptors.
I mean, they were cheap dinosaurs.
I know, dude. That's the thing that plagued my mind. It's like,
I was thinking that too. $4 million. Yeah. $4 million. The first one, which was nickname was the Tank, and it was sold for $4 million.
It's like no way. These guys
crazy.
Are
like a $300 million.
It's at least 300.
Yeah. But, a lot of flaws in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it was bad either. I think that's another one that's like a family movie. You don't really realize it sometimes. You think it's more serious because there's dinosaurs and killing, but at the end of the day, that's family too. Couple scares. I saw that one in actually IMAX 3D, which was really sick.
What is with you right now? You're really.
I'm upgrading.
Why?
I'm trying to do better.
Is it the wife? She wants the upgrade, or is
no? I want to. I want to see. I'm like, why? I have this movie pass. I want to see some IMAXs. I want to try some folding seats. I want to get the 3D
IMAX.
You know,
damn,
I'm just going for it. And I mean, technically, you can't
full experience. I love it.
Technically, you can't see those on Movie Pass.
You will soon,
but there's certain places you can find where you can just walk over to the other theater and just chill.
Oh, nice.
So,
Richie Rich over here.
Movie Pass is doing it.
They're gonna add the fees.
They will add fees.
Yeah, I heard that too.
For it.
And then on that note, I think I told someone, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but there's an AMC one now, an A-list where it's $20 a month, and you can see 3 movies a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only AMC, but if you're right by an AMC, that's a pretty sweet deal.
Well, you also, Nico, use Atom, right? You get a lot of success from that movie.
That's
Atom tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just it's just like Fandango.
It's whatever, apparently.
It's whatever, apparently.
Yeah. I just
brushing it off, guys.
It's a secret.
Only on Tuesdays. Let's say that. Only on Tuesdays.
Apparently by stocking that.
Tuesdays, AMC, use Atom.
I don't know. See.
Okay.
What I do know is I appreciate everyone who fucking listened. I appreciate the 1, 2, 3, 4, and plus 5 plus me for coming on and talking. Sicario 2 is good.
Good show. We'll see you next week. Ant-Man 2.
Peace.